You are all ready.
We are ready.
Yeah, we are ready.
It's all.
Can everyone see Gayatri's presentation?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Now, yes.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you across the world. It is my pleasure to welcome you today to another important session of the Faith Earth Dialogue, Changing the Future. This session is at the heart of the needs of not only the faith actors, but all stakeholders, including decision makers, academia, the private sector, and other stakeholders. While the nexus of religion and ecology has started more than 2 decades ago, yet knowledge of the linkages and its application in our daily lives is still much needed. Thus comes the need to generate more knowledge and make it available to all those concerned. We are delighted to have two of our knowledge partners with us, the Yale Forum on Religion and Ecology and the King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz International Interfaith Dialogue Center, KAICIID. We will listen from both organizations on their efforts and on the online courses they have developed. Faith for Earth is delighted to be part of these important efforts. Today,
my question is how
the
voices
online courses
stickers will be included in the process of working out
by
the
the two organizations, and we know the value to people around the world at the local and also at the global level. Without further ado, since I was late to come, let me hand over to one of our distinguished UNEP staff for some opening remarks on behalf of the education unit of UNEP. I'm delighted to introduce Ms. Gayatri Ragwa, who is an environmental education consultant for UNEP India office. She coordinates global environment educational programs implemented by Youth Education and Advocacy Unit of UNEP, and also networks with various stakeholders for India-specific environment education initiatives. A gold medalist at the postgraduate degree course in geography, Gayatri took her MPhil degree from the Delhi School of Economics, Delhi University, with specialization on the human impact on the environment. She taught for several years at university and high schools before devoting 15 years at the Environment Agency Abu Dhabi to raise the profile of environment education in the Emirates. She has co-authored several publications and resource materials on environmental education, and in 1998 she was conferred the Amateur Naturalist Award by the Emirates Natural History Group. In 2018, she received the Outstanding Environment Educator Award in the global category by the North American Association for Environment Education, NAAEE. Ragwa Gayatri, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Riyad, and good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all of you. First, my apologies for not enabling my camera because I am actually home quarantined with COVID at this point in time. So I will try to, I wanted to keep up my word. I've learned so much from Dr. Riyad's that I cannot let this opportunity go. I do want to work with him. So please pardon me in case I go into a cough or something like that. But yes, it's a quick presentation, so I think I should be able to do it pretty fast. So while you're going to be listening to some of the greatest speakers who've really developed wonderful online courses, I feel, pretty small in presenting what we are doing at UNEP, because you guys are doing wonderful work. So what are we doing is when we talk about education, training, and capacity building, you can see the importance of education, training, capacity building can never be understated. Whether it is Agenda 21, Montreal Protocol, UNFCCC, CBD, UNCCD, Agenda 2030, there is always that place where countries that have been a part of this multilateral treaty have to report on the education, capacity building, and training. While this is always added in everything, and I'm really, really happy to see that the FBO organization have come forward, because you've got wonderful reach all over the world, and it is important that we reach out to practically anyone that we can to tackle the triple planetary crisis. The next slide, please. The next slide. Right. So I just wanted to talk about the power of FBOs. I had a very small, connection with the FBO when in India in 2019, in 2020, I was asked to lead the FBO programs in India. We developed a strategy for India's FBO organization, did several programs. That is when I learned so much from all of you. It was an amazing, amazing journey that I learned. And I love to quote Fridtjof Capra, who said, in today's world, we belong to many different communities. We really do. But we share two communities to which we belong. And we are all members of humanity. And we all belong to the global biosphere. And this is a defining statement that has always stayed with me. And I strongly believe that FBOs go with this particular ethos. And that is the reason why you have such a vast reach and you can go up. Now, the next slide, please. So I'm going to be talking to you about what at UNEP Education Unit we do. We work in partnerships with various partners to create a generation of next leaders. The next slide. So we basically have two global thrust areas that we look at. The first thrust area is mainstreaming environment education and promoting advocacy across higher education. So we work very closely with the higher education establishments where we look into curriculum integration, influencing behavior change, connecting youth to green jobs, building leadership qualities among the youth, and building and collaborating with network of networks through the Youth Education Alliance that we have at our education unit. The second major thrust area is reaching youth through new partnership in the non-formal sector. We realize that youth are not only in schools and colleges, but youth work in very lot of non-formal spaces, such as World Scouts, Girl Guides, and even the gaming industry. Today, if we just take the number of youth who use gaming and who sit and do online gaming, that's a great opportunity for us to develop games that can introduce environmental nudges into the player's mind, and also the companies that are doing the gaming are also held responsible for the emissions that they do. So that's a wonderful opportunity that we are working with. And we also conduct non-formal education programs such as the Tide Turner Plastic Challenge. This is where I came into India to work on. This is an initiative that engages youth across India, in fact, across 32 countries globally, to take the issue of single-use plastic. In India, we've reached out to 330,000 youth across states. And in the whole world, we've got more than nearly 500,000 students joining us in this Tide Turner journey. In fact, tomorrow, the Tide Turners champions are going to be talking with our ED, telling her about their experiences and their journey. And we also started Earth School in 2020 when we realized that we can't take children out to nature because there was a lockdown. So why don't we bring nature to children inside the class, inside the houses, with the parents, with teachers, whoever are teaching online. So we ran a very, very successful Earth School with TED-Ed partnership. The next one. Next, yeah. So if I just want to give you an overview of the higher education effort, as I mentioned to you, UNEP leads the Youth Education Alliance. So what we have these youth networks all over the world, whether it is HESI, whether it is Second Nature, there are so many youth networks that are happening. And we work with these youth networks and we work with nearly 3,000 university members who are a part of this network. In India, we recently established an India Green University network so that we can combine all the higher education establishments, because there's a lot of good work going on, like it is going on in the FBO. The only thing is, how can we all provide a platform where we can all come together and share a community of practice? And that's exactly what was the whole purpose behind the thing. And we also framed what we call as a UNEP sustainability, the sustainable university framework. So in this sustainable university framework, we say, what does it mean for a university to be sustainable? What are the parameters that the university should be looking into? Is it just enough to green the ivory tower, or is we need to advocate for green behavior changes among the youth, or do we need to integrate it into? So there are a lot of stuff that it looks at. What does a sustainability university actually mean? And so we've developed the framework and we share it with all countries so that they can adapt it and contextualize it to their countries. The next one. Right. So one of our very, very successful program is Little Book of Green Nudges. This uses the nudge theory, looking at how behavior changes happen by nudging. So we have 40 nudges. We've come out with a publication where we have 40 nudges for the university students, and universities have signed up for the this Little Book of Green Nudges, and they deploy these nudges in their universities to see whether these kind of a nudge theory and a nudge behavior actually works. Does it make a change? Does it change behavior? That is what we look at. The next slide, please. Then we also recently in COP26, we came up with the Race to Zero universities and colleges. We have with Second Nature and EAUC. So we developed this whole, universities have signed up for their, when are they going to become carbon neutral? They've put in their plans, they've shared it. So many universities, we've got 1,991 higher education, which have now signed up for Race to Zero. So we want to have concrete action where you actually show, yes, we've reduced these carbon emission, and yes, that is what, it's not from awareness, but awareness to total action is what we are looking at. The next one, please. Yeah, so we also have these nature positive universities where we are working with the University of Oxford, and we look at, this was specially launched during the ecosystem restoration decade, where we are looking at how universities can become nature positive. And many, many universities have actually joined, and I've put in the link there, and we will share the link with you later, and you can join in. And we also are coming out with very, very exciting new initiatives. We are working with UNESCO on curriculum change, because curriculum change is very important. We're also looking at COP27 and working with key partners in government to enhance and scale up the environment education. And also we are launching a university for the ocean, and we're going to do more and more. So yes, we are a small team, but we love doing what we do. And that is what drives all of us. And the last slide. Thank you. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, you can type it on the chat screen. More than this, I can't talk. So that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gayatri, and our prayers with you and your families in these difficult times. And thank you so much for making it, despite your suffering and your worry about your family members. So thank you very much for the kind words and for the introduction of the efforts of UNEP and UNEP in India on environmental education. So let me introduce another important speaker, our partner, Armin Rossamian, who is a senior program manager for the KAICIID Dialogue Hub, which is called DKH, as well as he is the KAICIID online course coordinator. He is responsible for development, management, and implementation of the portfolio of the Knowledge Hub, of e-learning and training programs, and online courses and the thematic webinars. He has over 20 years of experience working as a program manager, lead trainer, and online course content moderator and coordinator in various UN agencies and international organizations, such as the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, United Nations Development Program, the World Bank, Habitat for Humanity, Aga Khan, and Amnesty International. Secretariat in the UK, being responsible for development, management, and implementation of various humanitarian and sustainable development programs in 26 countries of Europe, Asia, and Africa region. Armin, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abu Moghli. Today we will have a short presentation and official launch of one of our new e-learning courses, namely the e-learning course on engaging faith actors to support implementation processes of the Sustainable Development Goals. And I will try to speak very briefly about the types of e-learning programs and courses KAICIID is offering. I will speak a little bit about how we are using these e-learning programs as a part of our wider blended learning approach application into our training programs. And also I will speak about very briefly about the new e-learning course we are going to launch, and we'll launch it together. So KAICIID, International Center for Intercultural and Inter-Religious Dialogue, has different training programs and initiatives. We have global, regional programs, and as a part of wider program department, there is this Dialogue Knowledge Hub. Now it's called, starting from this year, e-learning and knowledge program, and our program focusing on following key focus areas, namely in the development and delivery of different types of e-learning and training and online training courses, hosting and convening different type of thematic webinars in collaboration with our partners. Also, we have developed a new online platform which we called Connect to Dialogue. I wonder if you can see the screen. Yeah, or can you?
Yes.
Because something happened with it. Let me just give me a second. I'll try to. On my side, something happened with presentation. It has been lost. Yeah, I lost my presentation. Can you help to?
Yes, I can share your PowerPoint.
Yeah. Can you? Because it says stop sharing. Let me see. Can you see it on your screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so yeah, so a part of e-learning courses and thematic webinars, our program has developed very recently a new online platform that provides online resources and directories, like directories of organizations and institutions active in the field of interreligious, intercultural dialogue, resource persons, case studies, statements, etc. So these are very good resources, but plus to that, we have very good opportunity within this new platform, which is called Connect to Dialogue, also to provide space for different type of thematic discussion groups, different communities of practices meetings, and we have regional communities of practices. We have global thematical communities of practices. These are all done to use this online platform to the best of our partners and KAICIID programs, that they can learn from each other, that they can share best practices and use these opportunities of online networking and online discussion groups to learn more and share their best practices and lessons learned. So I will not speak about all these programs. I will speak mainly about our e-learning component. And here on these slides, you see the types of e-learning courses and webinars we are offering to our stakeholders. We have different types of e-learning courses. We have very short e-learning courses with 1.5 hours to 2 hours long, that are best fit for very busy people, high-level officials who do not have time to take moderated instructor-led courses. So we have a series of short self-paced e-learning courses they can do on their own pace while they are commuting, on their mobile phone, on iPads. We have moderated instructor-led e-learning courses, which are good addition to our existing face-to-face training programs, workshops and initiatives. They are instructor-led. They have very good group the discussion points, joint projects participants are doing under the supervision and moderation of our professional facilitators and course moderator. We have also add value to KAICIID other programs, developing specialized courses for KAICIID staff and our implementing partners. And we have series of thematic webinars. You see within the last, for the period of 19 to 21, we've done over about 50 thematic webinars on different topics. Just to say that all these e-learning courses, all these webinars, we do in collaboration with our partners. And I would like to extend my special thanks to Dr. Abu Moghli and his team, because Face for Earth initiative is one of our key partners. And we done a number of webinars, and I'll speak about e-learning courses we're done with them soon. On this page, you see the link that you can use to access KAICIID e-learning courses catalog. And in this catalog, you will see all these different courses. You can click on them. We have mainly English courses are in English language, but we also have courses in French and Arabic languages that our partners in different regions can access and use as a part of their training initiatives or as a follow-up events. This is very brief snapshot on the that shows number of participants who were enrolled and take KAICIID courses in the period of 2017 to 21. As you see, the number of participants grows significantly, and I see there are few reasons, few underlying causes. First of all, our courses are a very good quality. They are very interactive. So participants like interactive, gamified version of the courses. The other, I think, plus we have compared to others is that they are mobile, like 85% of our courses, they are mobile devices compatible. So you can take them on your mobile phones, on your iPads. Plus then we have a COVID situation, which put a lot of interest for people to learn and to take e-learning courses. So I see, and another big advantage, we have all these courses are offered free of charge. So I think that's another big advantage we have, because we cannot charge according to KAICIID policies money for the courses. So that's, I think, another big advantage is that the number of participants are increasing. How we use these e-learning courses and why KAICIID put so much interest and emphasis on developing new e-learning courses, because I think one of the main criticisms we usually get from our donors and senior leadership team and board members, they say, okay, you've done very good, super regional training events, great training events, or a big regional or global events. What's next? How you invest in these people next? And in this case, application of the blended learning approach, where we bring together face-to-face training events that are with full and adding to them follow-up e-learning courses, make this help us to address these concerns and issues. Here is on your screen, you see a sample of one of our global events. This is KAICIID International and Regional Fellows Program Cycle. And you see this program is for 1 year long. There are 3 main face-to-face training events, 1 week each. And you can see in between first and second main training events, they are in orange. We have 2 e-learning courses. One is how to use interreligious dialogue as a tool for strengthening peace and social cohesion, and result-based management, because the second face-to-face training they are going to have is to develop their proposals, and the application of RBM, the concepts of RBM is very important for them. In between second and third training events, there are another 2 e-learning courses on intercultural communication communication, and how to engage faith actors to support implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. With this in mind, I want to speak a little bit about our new e-learning course, which is called Engaging Faith Actors to Support Implementation Process of Sustainable Development Goals. And here is the link you can access later. And just to tell why we developed this e-learning course. This e-learning course has been developed in consortium with various partner organizations, and I will speak about them a little bit later. You see here on this slide, it's United Nations Environmental Program, Faith for Earth Initiative, it's University of Peace, Lutheran World Federation, ISCREP, and the need for this course came that in number of international fora, religious leaders from around the world, they committed to the implementation of SDGs process, and it has been globally recognized that religious leaders and faith actors, they can play a significant role in advancing sustainable development agenda. But there is a need, on one hand, how to recognize the importance of greater engagement of faith actors to support the work that are how they can work closely with national and international stakeholders to ensure that implementation of SDGs is inclusive and participatory. On the other hand, how our UN agencies, national and local government, and international organization can meaningfully and effectively engage faith actors in SDGs implementation process, as well as how we can provide needed skills, tools, and competencies to faith actors that they can effectively engage and contribute in SDGs implementation process. So, bearing in mind these needs these needs, we developed this e-learning course. Here you see that each partner organization, they develop the content for specific modules, and KAICIID provided content, materials, tools into e-learning course format. I would like to use this opportunity to give a special thanks to our UNEP colleagues, Faith for Earth Initiative, to University of Peace, to Lutheran World Federation, to National Muslim Council of Liberia, who provided very good case studies to our Module 6, and to Barcelona Institute of Religious Sciences. As you can see, each module is focusing either to all 17 SDGs or to specific SDG Sustainable Development Goals. The course we are going to launch today, if you click on this, will come with this web page. Here it says registration is closed, but at the end of my presentation it will be open, and as soon as you click on this link, you can start registering for this course immediately after my presentation. We have two types of products with our partners. First of all, we have this 7 modules long solid e-learning course on engaging faith actors to support implementation process of SDGs, which is going to be offered as a moderated e-learning course. But also, the course is 7 weeks long. It's in English language. It's free of charge. It will take about 2.5 to 3 hours per week for participants to engage and complete each of the modules. And there is this certificate they will receive at the end if they successfully complete the tests and answer correctly over 70% of the test questions. A part of this wider 7-module course, because as I mentioned to you earlier, what we learn, the lessons we learn is that high-level officials and high-level religious leaders, they don't have time to take these moderated courses. So we provided each module as a separate, short, self-paced e-learning course. So you can see if you click on the same web page, it will bring you to these short courses. You can register to them and you can start taking these courses on your own pace. while you are commuting, when you have free time, and to successfully complement. So we have two packages. We have 7 modules e-learning course to be offered as moderated, facilitated course, and 7 short courses, each module separated and offered as a short course. That you can do on your own pace. And again, each course has its own certificate. You see, this is the one we done with our UNEP. It goes with to signature. This is for the short course, namely Faith for Earth, A Time for Action. With this in mind, I would like to use this opportunity to officially launch this course, clicking to this link. And with this, the registration for this course is going to be open. You see, we came to this course web page. Can you see the web page? Yeah, and you can apply to this course. You can download the course flyer. You can click any of these buttons on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and email, and share the content and the course with your colleagues. If you find, if you see it's useful, you can click on these sliding bars to learn more about the course description, target audience, the course outline, learning objectives, etc., that you can make informed decision in taking this course. With that in mind, I will stop here, and after the presentation of my colleague from UNEP, who will speak about the other course we done jointly with UNEP, we would be happy to take your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Armin, and thank you for being a very professional colleague and good partner in coming up with these online courses and the planned ones that we hope to launch in April, and hopefully many more that we will do together. So thank you very much for all the important information that you have shared with us. And now let me introduce Ewan McCartney, who worked with us as a program management officer at the UNEP Faith for Earth initiative from January 2021 until this month, following from an internship that he did with us as well for 6 months. Ewan holds a BA in Anthropology and International Development from the University of Sussex, as well as an MSc in International Development Studies from the University of Amsterdam. Alongside his colleagues at Faith for Earth, Ewan was in charge of producing the 8 modules on the online learning course, Faith, Environment, and Climate Change. He hopes that these online courses and the other excellent modules produced by KAICIID and its partners will help drive greater and more effective faith engagement with the SDGs and contribute to overcoming the environmental challenges we face. Ewan, thank you for being one of our highly professional colleagues, and the floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. I am just in the midst of trying to upload my presentation still, so you might have to bear with me a couple more moments. And I also apologize, it's extremely windy, wet, and rainy where I am today, so you might hear a bit of background noise, but hopefully that doesn't get in the way too much. Okay, I believe the presentation is nearly ready to share. If you could just bear with me one moment, please. My laptop and Microsoft Teams have never gotten along too well, so.
Can we see it?
Can you see it?
We can see a presentation, yes.
Okay, fantastic. Great then. All right, good morning, afternoon, or evening, everybody, depending where you are in the world. And thank you all again for joining us today for the session on the launch of online courses. My name is Ewan McCartney, as Ian introduced. I'll quickly be discussing our new e-learning course, Faith, Environment, and Climate Change. So the course consists of 8 modules, and it was created in partnership with the KAICIID Dialogue Centre, whom we just heard from, and G-Cube, an e-learning company who worked very hard over the last few months to transform the content we provided them with into an interactive online course format that we hope will be engaging and interesting for participants. And in developing this course, we also drew on the great work being conducted by members across the Faith for Earth network, as well as resources from within the UN system. So I don't have too much time today, so I'll just quickly cover the background and basis, how these courses fit into UNEP strategy, a quick outline of the modules, and I'll direct you to the website where participants will be able to access it in future and see all the basic information. So these modules form part of Faith for Earth's initiative goal to engage with, empower, and build the capacities of faith actors to contribute towards addressing, the environmental challenges we face, the triple planetary crisis, and the SDGs in a more effective manner. As we heard from KAICIID, they can also form part of UNEP's broader environment education, but through the lens of faith. The course aims to show how faith oh, my voice is not clear. Sorry, I should articulate more. The course aims to show how faith actors can help tackle 8 different thematic environmental challenges through leveraging the particular qualities they have and relating these issues to teachings contained within diverse faith traditions that really compel adherence to action. So a broad range of environmental issues are covered, showing that faith actors are not limited in which areas they can tackle and are really valuable partners across the board in environmental action. The different approaches they can take to address these different issues are also outlined within the modules, as not each issue should be approached from the same manner. So although they are primarily oriented towards faith actors, the contents of the 8 modules are still relevant for a wide range of stakeholders and help demonstrate the added value of working with faith actors to tackle environmental issues. Bridging perceived faith, secular science divides is a key objective of Faith for Earth, as is the creation of new partnerships and avenues for collaboration for greater impact. So it is hoped that these modules will help provide a foundation for this. And equally, we hope to demonstrate that there are comparable tenets regarding environmental issues that can be found in all faith traditions. So this is hopefully another basis to continue really building upon what we see as ever growing and ever greater interfaith collaboration. Thanks to our partners at KAICIID, the online courses are completely free. So this will help ensure broader participation, greater reach, and really democratize learning opportunities by making it available to everybody and not just those who can afford to do online courses. Although, okay, it's not a given, all that is required is access to the internet, and you can sign up and take the course. And this finally forms part of UNEP's wider push for digital transformation and really harnessing the opportunities that technology offers us for a more sustainable future. So I hope you can see this current slide that demonstrates the UNEP medium-term strategy 2022-2025. So these modules are of course linked to the overall work program of UNEP and the strategy moving forward. So this strategic focus is intended to tackle the root causes of the triple planetary crisis, which consists of climate change, biodiversity, nature loss, and waste and pollution. So doing so requires the input of all global stakeholders, and this course of course focuses on the role of faith actors in these processes, but while outlining the need for cooperation across all different sectors of society. So the modules are designed to educate faith actors on the key environmental focus areas moving forward and ensure their work is aligned to the strategy's objectives. It also forms part of Faith for Earth's commitment to elevating the role of faith actors and highlighting the many ways they can contribute to UNEP's objectives, embedding their perspectives further into the medium-term strategy. So on screen, I mean, it's quite a complex diagram. I hope you can see it okay, but you can see that the list of 8 modules that make up this course. So we can see climate change connects to the thematic program of climate action, the environmental governance connects to the foundational subprogram of environmental governance. So we really, we try and have comprehensively outlined the many different ways that faith actors can be a part of this strategy moving forward. I don't have time to go into the depth about the contents of each of the courses. I hope anyway, the titles are fairly self-explanatory as to what they'll be covering, but you'll be able to look at that in more depth later. However, it's also important that, we want these courses to connect to broader, these courses are very broad issues, so we cannot cover everything in one module alone. We can't hope to comprehensively outline the full scope of climate change in a single module. So we want to connect them to ongoing initiatives that participants can delve deeper into if they're interested or if it's relevant for their work. So, so we can see that module 3 on water is related to the Water Action Decade. Module 4 on ecosystem restoration and biodiversity conservation relates to the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration, and Module 6 relates to the work we do at the United Nations Environment Assembly. So we really want to make sure that participants are aware of existing initiatives they can connect with. There's an abundance of resources and guidance and toolkits contained within these broader initiatives. So it's very important that participants, don't feel like they're working in isolation or in silos, but that they're part of, broader momentums and movements. And this will really help avoid working in silos, duplicating already ongoing efforts and serve to better aggregate the efforts of faith actors and pool the collective resources they have. Moving on. Sorry, so I'll quickly just give you a format and an overview of how the different modules look. So we always begin by introducing the issue, defining and outlining it, and providing the key facts, figures, and science surrounding it, and why the need to address it or engage in the process, for example, in the instance of environmental governance. Being a UN entity, we then outline how it is being tackled within the United Nations systems, the ongoing programs, projects, initiatives. But that being said, we don't draw solely on the work of the UN alone, and we refer to many different other important sources too. In the next section, we explore faith perspectives relating to the matter, highlighting individual and common themes and the points of agreements that exist amongst different faiths, whilst acknowledging that they do come from different approaches and have different understanding of humanity's position or role towards nature and the environment. For example, and sometimes we see very clear, direct references, such as those surrounding water, whereas other times, perspectives are more nuanced and require sort of a bit more of an intellectual work. So, for example, most religions didn't arise at a time when global climate change was referred to and understood in the same way as we do today. But that doesn't mean that we still can't find many different, references that relate to changing environmental conditions and a need to avoid environmental degradation that still very much apply to the context today. In the next section, we look at the ongoing faith work tackling the issue to both provide participants with inspiration they can draw upon, but also show them initiatives they can link up with or replicate and implement in their own unique context. This section is the more so the next section is the more practical part of the module. It sort of highlights the tangible steps and actions that faith actors can take. We provide participants with additional guidance, resources, and tools to help them scale up their efforts and make them more effective for them to look at their own time. Then we have a sort of summary at the end before a final fun quiz to test participants' knowledge and sort of ensure that they've captured what we hope they would throughout the module. And at the very end, we provide a very comprehensive list of all the resources and references used throughout the module, just so participants have access to all this information. So moving on. So I think on the screen here, you should hopefully see sort of how the dedicated web page course will look like. This is kindly being prepared by Georgia from KAICIID, and we'll send it now in the chat, please. So like we saw also during Armin's presentation, you will see all the practicalities of the course, the fees, the duration, the learning time, the description of the course, the learning objectives, the sort of basic requirements, etc. So all the sort of key information will be included on this website for you to look at in your own time. So where do we stand? The online course is not fully completed. So although we're announcing and launching it today, people won't yet be able to register and sign up for it just yet. So firstly, the course is going to go through a pilot phase to test it and make any final adjustments. And then from then on, it should be open for broader participation and registration from mid-March to the start of April. KAICIID and UNEP will be sending out communication material in the meantime to keep our network up to date on any progress, and we'll definitely notify you exactly when the course will be open. So please do keep an eye out on our respective networks. So I'll very quickly now outline the modality of the online courses. So like Armin discussed in his previous section, there's this sort of two formats that you can take this. So the entire course of all 8 modules will be offered as a moderated course, consisting of a cohort of around 15 participants at a time, who will work together and engage in forum activities and shared learning throughout, in sort of a homework style format. This will also be offered based, so this style will be based on the number of registration and the demand that we have for it. And we hope to have a sort of a new cohort and a new course every 1 to 2 months. So that means the participants will have to register in advance for a fixed starting date, and they will be expected to complete all 8 modules in order to be certified. This should require only a few hours a week commitment over about a 2-month period. KAICIID will also be able to potentially customize forum activities and participant engagement to be in line with certain events. So if we're having a youth forum, the activities will be more aligned with the themes discussed relating to how young people can engage in these issues. Equally, each of the 8 modules will also be offered as a standalone, self-paced and unmoderated course for participants who may only be interested or have the time for just 1 or 2 of the 8 modules within the overall course. Say they're particularly interested in water issues or in ecosystem restoration, but less so in financing for sustainable development, for example. So essentially, we don't want to dissuade anyone who may not feel they're able to commit to the full 8-module course, but do find that some of the themes covered are quite relevant for them, and that way they can just take the one module by itself, or they could take all 8 individually, should that work for them. So yeah, for these modules, participants will be able to register at any time and take the module at their own pace with no fixed starting date. However, there is no moderator or participant in forum activities. So this is more of a conventional online learning format, whereas in the moderated course, it's more sort of the blending learning format that Armin talked about. Regardless, upon completion of either style, both participants will be awarded with the relevant certificate, and all modules will also have a corresponding thematic paper that will be published by Faith for Earth in the coming months on our website. So do keep an eye out for those if you're interested to see basically the contents of this, but in a sort of more conventional publication format. So I believe that between this presentation and the webpage link, you should have all the sort of essential details concerning this online course. However, as Armin stated, we'll have a quick Q&A session, and do feel free to reach out at any time to the Faith for Earth Initiative if you have any further queries. I will highlight that we are hoping to have a few more modules in the pipeline that list here. So faith and food systems, mindfulness, cities, science, circular and green economy, nature-based solutions, innovation, digitalization, data and citizen sciences. These are all themes that we believe faith actors can contribute greatly towards in the attainment of UNEP's objectives. And with that, I thank you very much for your time and listening, and look forward to the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for all the work and the sleepless nights that you had to put in finalizing the course, and being our the forefront person with KAICIID in developing these courses. Now, colleagues, we will open the floor for questions and answers for this section of our online courses dialogue before we move into the next section. And I would like to ask you, those who want to ask a question, to raise your hand. There's a button, an icon that you can do so to ask the questions. Then when you do so, we will give you the mic to speak. So please introduce yourself and your organization, and kindly be brief because we have to finish in 35 minutes. And we want to give the Yale Forum on Religion and Ecology the time to present their courses. So I see the first in line to ask questions, Dr. Ibrahim. Dr. Ibrahim, please go ahead.
Good afternoon from Istanbul. I am from Üsküdar University here. I am glad to be, to attend this great events, even through Zoom or, online. I really appreciated both speakers, Armin and McCarthy, for their emphasis on role of education and their generosity to share their experience through their websites. I think this is
half an hour.
Oh my God, it is good to see here my friends.
Ladies, what we're looking for from you is
in the same spirit. We are doing these good things. At the same time, here we just established, just inspired by Mary and John, ambitious project, Yale Forum on Ecology and Religion. I think we have the first forum on environmental ethics at Üsküdar University. No, we are also designing new courses.
As vague as you want. We are
just sometimes
but it is
apologies. There's somebody speaking. Mics. I can't see who is speaking now. In addition to Dr. Ibrahim. Okay, go ahead, Dr. Ibrahim. Now you are muted, Dr. Ibrahim.
So I don't know. It is muted, So just let me just finish. Unfortunately, I am tested positive today. This is why I put mask on. Even now I am home. I am under quarantine. But this is a big event. I couldn't ignore it. So in the spirit, just let me say, in the footsteps of Mary and John, like Yale Forum on Ecology and Religion, we established for the first time in Turkey the Forum on Environmental Ethics at Üsküdar University. Now there's a big demand about about the education of teachers, education of religious leaders. So I think we will benefit from what our colleagues just presented here. I will be in touch with them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ibrahim, and thank you for all the information that you've provided. Of course, we are very much aware of your efforts and the wonderful work that you are doing, and we're sorry that you have tested positive. I think eventually every one of us will do so. So we pray for your quick recovery. I see Dr. Aditi. Michelle, please go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Iyad, for great efforts, and very happy to hear about these courses. My question was that is it possible to customize some of the contents on these environmental education platforms? Why? Because people would relate to local cases all the more. Suppose if we are offering these courses through our FPO network that we have, probably they'll be able to relate more with the cases of success in the locality. Is it possible that we customize some part of it and then offer it, or I just wanted to check out this possibility.
Thank you very much, Dr. Aditi. This is a wonderful question and idea. We would love to localize such online courses. Of course, this depends very much on the availability of resources and the availability of case studies as well to be included. But the possibility is, available, and there is a potential. But we need to work together on it and discover ways and means to make it happen. I see Dr. Tripathi. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Lihar, sir. My question is to Mr. Ivan. Any question, any modules or course is available from your side? Hello?
Yeah, sorry. Well,
you are getting my point?
No, I think I lost you.
Actually, I would like to request you, if you provide opportunity to our new generation on non-violence.
So your question is an online course on non-violence.
Yes, yes.
And this is again a great idea. We are starting some courses on spirituality, mindfulness, peace, and faith and inter-religious collaboration. So that might be one of these, if not a standalone course, but will be included in such courses. So thank you very much for this good idea. Yuan, you want to say something?
We also refer to, I guess you're referring to the idea of ahimsa, and we refer to it as it relates to the different environmental problems within each course. So it's non-violence to people, non-violence to nature, non-violence in thought, deed, and action. So we can certainly hope.
Actually, sir, non-violence leadership is very important for us, for sustainable faith and our new responsibility. So I would like to raise this this course, non-violence. Dr. Liard, sir, thank you so much for your humble, kind support. Thank you.
Our
Maybe.
pleasure. Armin, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'll try to answer this question. Very good question. Thank you very much. Actually, we are looking forward to develop similar courses with UNEP, but the e-learning course, I have a pleasure to launch today this SDG course, Engaging Faith Actors to Support Implementation of Sustainable Development Goals. There is one module which specifically looking on countering hate speech. That this can be of your interest. This module is developed by UPs. I think I would recommend you to check the course and the module itself, and it's up to you which format you will take as a moderated course, where they're also learning from each other, doing joint projects, having group discussions and stuff. Or if you are very busy, you can do it as a self-paced course and sign up for the short self-paced mode course. I would also recommend.
Also advise to Dr. Francisco Roja for non-violence chair in UPs, and he visited in India, and I advised to him and his team, please introduce non-violence chair or Gandhian chair. So
thank you, Dr. Tripathi. Let's take this further, and we exchange ideas on email. We will be happy to consider your request. So I don't see any other questions or anybody raising their hands. So I would like to move to the second section of this dialogue series on launching the online courses, and I'm honored to introduce Professor Dr. Mary Evelyn Tucker, who teaches at Yale University at the School of the Environment and Divinity School. She is co-director with John Grimm of the Yale Forum on Religion and Ecology. With John, she organized 10 conferences on world religion and ecology at Harvard. They were series editors for the 10 resulting volumes from Harvard. Mary Evelyn was a member of the Earth Charter Drafting Committee and the International Earth Charter Council. She won the Inspiring Yale Teaching Award in 2015 and has been awarded 5 honorary degrees. With John Grimm, she received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the International Society for the Study of Religion, Nature, and Culture. Mary Evelyn, it's always a pleasure and honor to have you with us. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Iyad, and all of your staff at UNEP. You've done a wonderful job over these last few years, and this is a very special occasion, as Professor Ibrahim Özdemir noted, of moving forward. I'm hoping that Marina will share the PowerPoint that I prepared. But let me just say it's been a pleasure to work with UNEP since 1987, actually, especially on a variety of issues through their New York office. But I'd like to just introduce you to the Forum on Religion and Ecology and this website, where we have many advisors, about 80 advisors, including Ibrahim and others. And as Iyad said, this work began at Harvard about 25 years ago, but we've worked with hundreds of historians of religion, theologians, environmentalists, activists, and scientists, including E.O. Wilson, who just passed away, Tom Lovejoy, the fathers of biodiversity, and so on, who are very, very supportive as scientists of this work. So this sense, though, that I just want to underscore is that we're trying to create, and in collaboration with so many people, an academic field within academia that has emerged over the last 25 years now in colleges, universities, and high schools, secondary schools, but also this moral force. You know, I'm thinking today, I'm looking out, it's a beautiful sunny day, and I'm thinking of the 90 million migrants all over the world from climate change, the problems of climate justice. I'm thinking of the endemic poverty that the SDGs are still trying to address, the development issues, and so on. And I'm thinking of what's happening to our planetary future for the children and next generations. I think this is what motivates us all. And so I'm thrilled to see that we're now taking advantage of the internet to make the sensibilities, the contributions of the world's religions more clear, more available. So I would just suggest that what we're trying to do in complement to these wonderful courses that have just been described by Armin and Ian, is to just take a step back as well and say, what is the spiritual depths? What are the well springs of all of these world's religions that can inspire change along with science and policy? So religions are necessary but not sufficient, and this is why this UNEP partnership with science and policy is so critical. But the sustainability is going to be the sustainability of the human spirit, and that's the important well springs of the teachings and practices and texts of the world's religions. So if I may go to the next slide, let me see if I can take control here. Yeah, so we have the Western religions with Islam. We have Hinduism and the Asian religions. We have indigenous religions represented, and the interreligious sensibilities that are emerging all around the planet, that the religions must be united for this work. So that's the work of the forum to identify within these religions. There are on this website overview essays on each of the religions. There are bibliographies of the many, many books now and articles and media that are available. There's sacred texts that have been identified that elevate why the environment is important, why eco-justice is important. And one of the most important parts of this website, and I hope it will work as a complement to the SDG courses that you're all developing, is engaged projects. So from all over the world and every religion, we have examples of engaged projects. So this theory and praxis, ideas and engagement, and they're very, very inspiring projects of the various world religions. Now, I want to highlight as well that this Faith for Earth book that was launched just 2 years ago and comes out of the legacy actually of a 20-year work of UNEP, where the first book that was published was Earth and Faith, again highlighting in simple but accessible form what are the contributions of the different traditions. Here we have Confucianism and the great teachings of their triad of universe, earth, and human, and that the humans are complements to the cosmos, to the earth, and that filial piety to all of these elements is what provides a basis for an environmental ethics. This is highlighted in this book and in many of the other writings that are now available. This is one of the most important traditions along these lines. And here we have, of course, indigenous traditions, which my husband, John Grimm, is a student of, specializes in. We've been very involved in Native American work and tribes, especially the Crow tribe in Montana and the Salish people in the Northwest Coast. But I'll tell you in a few moments about the course that will focus specifically on indigenous peoples. Now, this new project that we've launched just this year in January, Religions and Ecology, Restoring the Earth Community. The idea here is we're in a decade of restoration, and how can religions contribute to that sense of restoring equanimity, harmony? Now, we have key themes in these courses, biodiversity, a key theme along with UNEP, climate emergency. We like to say it's an emergency. It's not just climate change. Food systems, which are so endangered. Diversity of voices and representatives from the world's people. And eco-justice. We have a whole new, very robust site as part of the website on eco-justice. So these are the themes of the courses, and you can see here they're Yale Coursera online classes. Coursera is a major online platform, and it attracts thousands of visitors. Now, the courses there are an introduction to religion and ecology, beginning with even what is ecology and the notion of an organic holism that is part of what we are all looking for, so that the science and ecology matches the sensibilities of the world's religions. And we can say, even in this introductory course, as we identified from the Harvard Conference series, that there's common themes which are in Faith for Earth as well. But we like to say there's reverence for all life, there's respect for species and interdependence, there's reciprocity with ecosystems, there's restraint in use of nature, there's redistribution, access to land and justice issues, responsibility for future generations, and restoration of ecosystems, but also the human spirit. So we call these our 7 R's, and they're in a book called Ecology and Religion. We're happy to make that available to anyone as a PDF file. It's from Island Press. The second course is Indigenous Religions and Ecology. As I've just mentioned, we all know the great contributions and how the voices of Indigenous peoples is now being heard around the world. The Interfaith Partnership, the Interreligious Rainforest Initiative is one example of that. We also want to emphasize the traditions of Asia. This is my specialty, is the Asian religions, especially South and East Asia. But these are some of the oldest on the planet after indigenous peoples. So what is it that they can contribute to a more sustainable and flourishing future? The East Asian traditions, of course, from China and Japan and across South, even down to Hong Kong and Singapore. The Western religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And we have a special course because there's 2 billion Christians just on Christianity and ecology. And especially because the Pope's encyclical has been so important in this work, Laudato Si. Now, the introduction, as I've said, is a broad introduction. What is the history of this movement, which many, many people have been engaged with? And what's highlighting the moral force of religions and ecology? You know, it's true in this country that civil rights, separation but equal, was accepted until the religions entered into these discussions. Martin Luther King and others who were just celebrating this weekend. And when he said, this is morally wrong, this is morally problematic, this is the eco-justice movement that's really beginning to sweep across the planet. And that moral force, as Iyad and so many of you know well, is what can be a transformative and cathartic change for all of us. So this prepares learners for the other courses clearly. The Indigenous one, it's designed as a gateway for seeing the contributions of Indigenous people for millennia and for their environmental understanding, which is called traditional environmental knowledge, and now very much being joined with scientific knowledge in something like Robin Kimmemer's book, Braiding Sweetgrass. And in this course, John Grimm has interviewed people from every part of the planet who are doing restoration work, justice work, and so on. Very inspiring voices. So from Africa, from Asia, from the Americas, the Pacific region, the Hokulea voyages of learning again the navigational techniques across the Pacific regions that have regenerated cultural revival and spirit in the Hawaiian and Pacific peoples. South Asian religions, here we have Buddhist monks protecting trees in Thailand and Cambodia with philosophies of interdependence. We've just lost the great leader Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Zen Buddhist leader, actually, who had this idea of interbeing. So we want to bring forward what is interbeing, what is interdependence that can give us a basis of environmental ethics. So here we have the traditions in this course are Hinduism, Jainism, the yogic traditions, Buddhism, Sikhism, and the Baha'i faith, because the largest numbers of Baha'i are actually in India. So it's an introduction to what are the teachings and what are the practices of these religions. In East Asia, again, a gateway to the East Asian religions and their practices. We have Confucianism, which happens to be my specialty, Taoism, Buddhism in its Chinese, Japanese, Korean form, Shinto, the nature religion in Japan, and shamanistic practices that are actually all over the world, but are still very alive in Asia. Now, the Western religions, again, a gateway to these three extraordinary monotheistic traditions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. What do they share? What are their distinctive contributions? What Judaism with a green Sabbath, Christianity, as I've mentioned, with all kinds of practices, but especially now this opportunity with an encyclical that is introducing integral ecology around the globe. And the rise of Islam with this new statement on Mizan, and the tremendous resources from the Quran, all of which are emphasized in this course. So Christianity and ecology, of course, its own separate standalone, but we are highlighting the Catholic, the Orthodox, and the Protestant contributions to religion and ecology. The Greek Orthodox Patriarch Bartholomew, the Orthodox leader of the Greek Orthodox, has been one of the key leaders, along with the Pope, in these issues for many, many years. So environmental justice, creation care, biodiversity, and climate change are all emphasized. Now, the key facts of these Coursera online courses is that they're accessible to a general audience. We've taught them at Yale, but we've made them much more available to people who might not have any background in their religions, but want to learn. People can start anytime and they can work at their own pace. They can audit any course for free, and there's transcripts of all the lectures. The readings are available. There's many, many videos. There's a lot of interviews available for downloading. Each course can be taken separately or together as a specialization. The first 5 courses are a specialization. Christianity is its standalone. And you can engage with community mentors to support and deepen your learning. These are Yale students who are doing amazing work in responding to the postings and so on online. So just to conclude, then, the courses are this introduction to religion and ecology, Indigenous, South Asian, East Asian, Western Christianity and ecology. And this has taken many, many years. So I want to give a big shout out to the lineage of our teachers. We spent 10 years at Columbia learning these traditions from people who really understood the spiritual dimensions of them. So, you know, we want to give thanks for that lineage. We want to give thanks for all the people who've helped work on these for the last several years. And again, let's conclude with a big shout out for IAD and Faith for Earth and all that's happening in this exciting 2 weeks, but even before that. So thank you, IAD. Thank you, Armin, Ian, and all the UNEP staff. So grateful.
And we thank you so very much for all the work that you have been doing over the past 25 years or more, specifically on religion and ecology with John and with so many others who have been pioneers in coming up with the nexus and the importance of it and providing the needed knowledge. And we are very proud to be partners with you on many fronts. And as we have in 10 minutes another session on the book, The Faith for Earth, A Call for Action, we would like to open the floor for few questions if we can, and then move on all together. I hope you join us for the next session. So I again see Dr. Ibrahim raised his hands. Dr. Ibrahim, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mary. I first met Mary and John in May '98 in Harvard. At that time, you know, even the Muslims, environmentalists, we didn't know each other. So these 10 conferences at Harvard University, Mary, when you look back to the past, could you imagine at that time the impact of these 10 books and 10 conferences would be in the future? So when now, with this experience of 25 years, more than 25 years, what do you think about the future?
Well, Ibrahim, you've been such a great friend and partner and colleague. That's why we value all of our forum advisors and those on this particular Zoom. You know, it's hard to predict, isn't it? But as I said, I begin every day and sometimes with sleepless nights thinking about the future of our planet. I do. And I think about those who are in immigration refugee camps and so on. And I think about those who have no access to water and food and the basic necessities, which is what UNEP holds up over and over again with the SDGs. And that's why, you know, we're happy to identify religious communities working on these issues. But I say, with a breaking heart, but with an open mind and with great thanks for the partnerships here and around the world. This is a great hope for John and me, but for many, many people. And IAD has taken this forward. You know, we began with the Rona office in New York, but what IAD has done, I think, is really putting this into the international context in a United Nations arena that it's never been able to really enter. And I think if we all have the humility to say religions are late in some ways in coming to this, the base has been built by many people over 25 years, but now this deep partnership with a faith that the Earth's future is in such stake that we need science, policy, and religion, spirituality, and values. This partnership is now, I think, solidified and can go forward. And that's really thanks to IAD and the work at UNEP. We'll be partners till the end in this work. So very grateful.
Thank you very much. Yes, we will.
Thank you.
And of
Thank
course, your leadership on this is an inspiration to all of us. I see Father Odomaro. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, thank you very much, Riyad, and especially thank you very much, Taka, for this presentation. Mine is a question about the need to have a conversation between science and religion. Oftentimes we get mixed messages, and sometimes if there is no cohesion, or these two powerful institutions speaking to each other, it might create difficulties. So I would wish to see how programs, academic programs engage that dialogue. The same with interreligious dialogue at the same time as well, so
Good.
that we don't hear mixed messages and they sometimes complicate the conversation. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Father. So the science and religion, you know, on Friday morning at 8, as part of this series, there will be a webinar specifically on this topic that has been arranged through Faith for Earth. So I think you couldn't be more right, because I've been teaching for 50 years and in secular academia by and large, and very blessed to, you know, be teaching at Yale and Harvard and Berkeley and Columbia. But I have to say, I'm at this incredible science-based School of the Environment here at Yale. I love the students, they're amazing. I love my colleagues. But within secular academia, it's still hard to understand the religious partnership that we're seeking. And that's why, again, I emphasize humility and so on. But I also feel we have to highlight the positive contributions of religion, because as our colleague said, you know, this issue, nonviolence, violence over history and in the present period is very, very regrettable. So the science and religion dialogue as a basis for this, and this is why we call it religion and ecology, you see, precisely to link it. We've got to deepen it, we've got to broaden it, we need to keep working on it. And so it's such an important point. And your second one about interreligious dialogue, you know, I take Friends of the Earth Middle East, a wonderful combination of the great Abrahamic traditions, working on water at the Jordan River and so on. This, we have said over and over again, the Middle East is going to be about water, you know, and if the religions can contribute and cooperate, it's incredibly important. So interreligious dialogue is absolutely key to the future of our planetary challenges, for sure.
Thank you very much, Mary Evelyn, and thank you, Father Odomo, for this question. As we have only 3 minutes to go, I propose that our main UN and Mary Evelyn takes the floor for 1 minute each to conclude, and we move to the other session. So Armin, would you like to start?
Yeah, thank you. I just would like to say how happy I am to be part of this event and share the programs we done jointly with UNEP and other partners, and to use again this opportunity to give credit for the good content and good collaboration we have with all of them. Just would like to mention to participants that I see a few questions here on the use of this e-learning courses. If any of your organizations would like to have a separate cohort for these courses we develop with UNEP, please let us know. We would be happy to discuss it and have a separate cohort for your project participants only, and maybe to have also a co-facilitator from your project. So if the interest is there, we would be happy to explore it further. Please contact Iyad and contact me. We would be happy to schedule a separate meeting to discuss it. Thank you again for this opportunity.
Thank you, Armin. Thank you very much. Ewan?
Yeah, I would like to just thank everybody as well, both everyone attending today. I think it's quite an important thing we're doing, and particularly thank Armin and KAICIID for the great collaboration we've had, but also Mary Evelyn and Yale, because we drew on so much of your work for developing these modules. You're sort of a foundational institution really in everything we did. And I came from academia and I studied development issues, and we never explored the role of religion in these sectors. So I fully agree with what you're saying, that that this faith-secular divide persists. So I think it's a whole new avenue of engagement if we can embed it more in academia. So I hope that this contributes to that process, and that people find value in these courses and understand the great work we do. And with that, I shall pass the microphone to Mary Evelyn.
Thank you so much. And it's wonderful to have this collegial exchange, Armin and Yuan. And what I see is so terrific is that your courses are a complement to, because you're doing themes, you're doing targeting faith leaders, and you have a nimble approach that's absolutely essential for right now. So, ours has this kind of legacy feeling of the religions, but yours has the thematic and engaged, which is marvelous. So it's a wonderful complement, terrific to be working with you all. And just like Armin said, the courses that we're just launching now can be used in your communities, your churches, synagogues, mosques, et cetera, around the world, to have discussion groups. So everything on our website, everything in these courses, we want to have open access, open source. So use them as you wish. And again, thank you, Iyad and your team. Thank you, partners here. And we look forward to being in touch with you.
Thank you very much, everybody. And thanks to the participants for listening and for learning. Certainly, we will keep you updated in our regular newsletters. And certainly, the Yale Forum on Religion and Ecology is our partner. We always promote and talk about their, wealth of knowledge that they present to the international community, let alone to the interfaith community. So thank you very much. There is a session that has just started 1 second ago. So please join us for the Faith for Earth, a call to action. That is a book that was produced by the Parliament of World Religions, the Yale Forum, and UNEP. So see you on another front. Bye-bye and thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.